Good morning. Welcome to the Commonwealth Institute's 21st Top 100 Women-Led Business Awards in Massachusetts. Very happy to be back here again with all of you. And my name is Elizabeth Heiler. I am the CEO of the Commonwealth Institute.
And I'm Pam Reeve, Chair of the Board of the Commonwealth Institute.
And we're back. We are back. Who would have thought that we'd be back here in a recording studio in 2021? But I guarantee you, we are very much looking forward to being in person next year in 2022. So with that, the rules are the same. The networking, I hope you all enjoyed it in the front end and got to meet a lot of people. The program itself for the next hour is recorded. We have a number of people joining us this morning, so hold on to your hats. I think you're really going to enjoy today's program. We have a variety of leaders, both locally, nationally, a number of our top 100 women weighing in on the current state of women's leadership and advancement across the Commonwealth. So with that, I'd like to turn it back over to Pam.
Well, I can't believe we're here again in a virtual environment. So that's the same. But a lot of things have changed over the course of the last year. We have a new administration and the first ever woman of color vice president. Pretty cool.
We have a vaccine.
We have a vaccine and vaccine cards and vaccine passports.
And make sure you laminate them.
Make sure you laminate them. We're going to have a first woman mayor of Boston, which is pretty cool.
Which is historic.
Historic.
We also have new words and vocabulary in our nomenclature. Last year, remember the word pivot and unprecedented? Well, now we're moving into other words like Zoom fatigue, and TikTok is something I never even knew about till recently. I'm not in TikTok, just so we all know.
No, she's not. No. No, my kids keep trying to get me to do a TikTok dance, and I've said no, I won't do that.
Yeah, well, there might be one later.
There might be
in the
one
program.
later. We've also experienced tremendous disruption of the workforce, both male and female, but largely the female workforce. The Great Resignation, the she-cession, which is really affecting every company, not just the top 100.
Yeah, it's really amazing, and it makes me so happy to be in an organization like the Commonwealth Institute that focuses only on making sure that all women get the leadership development they need, the opportunity to be retained in their companies and get promoted. So we're very, very happy at TCI to be part of the movement to continue to advance women leaders.
I think one of the other changes since last year, Elizabeth, is we were coming off a tumultuous time after George Floyd's murder and the reigniting of concerns about DE&I, and lots of thoughts and prayers, but then some action was starting to take place. Roll the clock to this year, and companies are much more serious about what they're doing for inclusiveness and belonging and really embracing all of their workforce in ways that are much more productive. I think that's a good thing that's come out of this period.
It's a very good thing, very good thing. It's now my great pleasure and honor to introduce to all of you Governor Charlie Baker. He continues to be one of our biggest supporters at TCI, and I know he's delighted to again join us this year. Charlie.
Elizabeth, I want to thank you for that introduction and say good morning to everyone. This is Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker. I want to welcome you to this year's Commonwealth Institute's Top 100 Women-Led Business Awards celebration. It's an honor for me to join you once again, even though it's virtual, to celebrate both the Commonwealth Institute and the incredible women of Massachusetts who are leading some of the Commonwealth's most successful businesses and corporations. Since taking office in 2015, the Baker-Polito administration has striven to serve as a partner and champion for women in leadership roles throughout the Commonwealth, and we're committed to the continued work to ensure that women have an equitable and accessible seat at our table. The work that the Commonwealth Institute does to advance women in leadership positions across all industry sectors in the Massachusetts workforce is terrific and admirable, and my administration is grateful for the contributions your support makes to our communities and to our economy. Each year, this terrific event is an opportunity for us to celebrate women and their significant contributions to Massachusetts businesses and beyond. We're well positioned as we emerge from COVID-19, and much of that optimistic position is in part thanks to the women in the businesses that are being honored today. This year, the 100 businesses being honored by the Commonwealth Institute account for $67 billion of total Massachusetts revenue, which is up $7 billion from last year. That's an incredible achievement, especially given all the challenges we've faced over the last 18 months. And I commend each and every one of you who represent these businesses and contributed to this enormous success. I'd also like to congratulate the 19 businesses that have joined this auspicious list of top 100 women-led businesses in Massachusetts for the first time. As we continue to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, the Commonwealth, our Commonwealth, is fortunate to have women like you leading our resilient economy forward towards sustained growth and development. You represent the best that Massachusetts has to offer, a diverse group of successful women from different backgrounds, ethnicities, and life paths forward, and we're immensely grateful for all you've done. Congratulations to everyone. Enjoy the rest of the event, and I really hope I can see you all in person next year.
Thank you, Governor Baker. We so appreciate your support. And I have the pleasure of introducing Linda Henry. The Boston Globe has been our partner for 9 years for the Top 100. What an excellent partner they've been. And this year, Linda joins us not only as our partner, but also as the first woman CEO of the Boston Globe in its 150-year history.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Boston Globe, I am delighted to be with you here today to recognize the top 100 women-led businesses in Massachusetts. The Globe is pleased to once again partner with the Commonwealth Institute to publish this important list, now in its 21st year. We applaud TCI's lasting commitment to supporting women in business and celebrating their achievements. The TCI Top 100 list is the centerpiece of the Globe magazine's annual Women and Power issue, which publishes this weekend in the Boston Sunday Globe, and all of you award recipients will be receiving a copy of it with your awards. The top 100 businesses and nonprofits we're here to recognize today are vital to Massachusetts. They span virtually every sector of our economy, including healthcare, financial services, and information technology, construction, biotech, education, law, retail, travel. All told, they have a combined revenue and operating budget in excess of $66 billion. To earn a place on this list, these chief executives and their teams have strategized to survive and thrive during the unprecedented changes and challenges of the pandemic. The Globe's expanding business section has been covering how company leaders have sought innovative ways to support their employees. And this is where women leaders have demonstrated a particular ability to manage with compassion. Research shows that managers who have been attentive to the emotional needs of people in their workforce have helped those employees stay engaged during the pandemic. And a new survey by McKinsey and leanin.org found that women leaders more consistently ensured manageable workloads, provided emotional support, and checked in on the overall well-being of their staff. Those skills and priorities were evident in our interviews with CEOs for this issue in the Globe this weekend. We asked the chief executives how they build and support resilient teams that can deal effectively with uncertainty. And two main themes emerged. The first was the importance of listening, truly listening with empathy. Dr. Reshma Kewalramani of Vertex Pharmaceuticals, the first female CEO of a large U.S. biotech company, put it really well. Through these challenging times, I've learned so much by listening to our employees, she said. Being able to listen with empathy and compassion, see the big picture beyond the short-term urgencies, and communicate clearly, frequently, and with candor. The second theme was the recognition that diverse teams are resilient teams, a fact that research into innovation and successful organizations has long supported. Maria Flynn, the president and CEO of Jobs for the Future, spoke about how companies can use internships, co-op programs, and work-based learning opportunities to engage new talent. She asks, how can we leverage this time of demand to really drive innovation? At Boston Globe Media, we've seen how people from different backgrounds come together to strengthen teams and drive new ideas. I'm proud to say that we have great women leaders throughout our organization. Our Spotlight investigative team, our local news and regional news coverage, our health and education teams, our arts, food, travel, our opinion section are all led by women. And women lead one of our newest initiatives, the Emancipator. On the business side, women head up our innovation team, our marketing team, our events team, and more. Whether we gather in person or over Zoom, I think there's power in coming together to celebrate each other like we are today. For her story about entrepreneurs and access to capital for the Women in Power issue, Globe columnist Shirley Leung spoke to Helen Adioson, the founder and CEO of Care Academy. Helen said something that sticks with me and speaks as also to why the Globe supports TCI's Top 100 program. She said, "I take it as a personal responsibility to share success. If you are a woman successful on any level, take the time to pull other women up." That's not just a recipe for doing the right thing, it's a recipe for success. Thank you all for joining us on this morning and sharing your successes with us. The examples you set are inspiring, and I congratulate you on all that you have accomplished during these extraordinary times.
Thank you very much, Linda. It's great to see you again, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of all of TCI for continuing to be a partner with the Top 100 Women-Led Business Awards in Massachusetts and for your contribution and support for our ongoing programs. So thanks so much. Really appreciate you being here with us this morning. It's now my great pleasure to introduce our Congresswoman, Ayanna Pressley. Many of you know Ayanna and all the good hard work that she's involved in, but she continues to be a trailblazer in the fight for racial justice and gender equity. So it's my pleasure and honor to now introduce Ayanna Pressley. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley here, representing the Massachusetts 7th Congressional District. I just wanted to take a moment to extend my congratulations to all the women-led businesses being recognized here today. We belong everywhere, and our leadership and our lens are sorely needed in every room and at every table where decisions are being made, in elected office, in our boardrooms, or in the C-suite. I just want to congratulate those of you who have done the very challenging journey of taking a business from concept to execution. I'm so proud that many of you call the Massachusetts 7th your home. The role that you're playing is so critical to our civic life, to our culture, to our community, and to our economy. Thank you for taking that challenge on. And I hope that you'll take some time to pause and to reflect on just all that you've overcome to make your business a reality and for this recognition today. I know none of you embarked upon the journey of running and owning a business to receive accolades and recognition, but you're certainly no less deserving of them. And I hope you will take pause to reflect and to celebrate all that you have accomplished to make your business a reality. There is no business community without the contributions of our women. And so I'm so glad that we're taking the time today to acknowledge that. You know, very often I quote my hero, Shirley Chisholm, who said, "If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring your own folding chair." Well, recently I've amended that because I think if we bring a new chair to an old table, we're still doing a disservice to and disenfranchising the voices of many. What you women are doing is you are creating an entirely new table. And that is a table that I am very happy to sit at. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Ayanna, and for all the great work you're doing for all of us in Massachusetts. And now we need to thank our sponsors. There is no way we could pull off a program like this without the terrific support of our sponsors. And I'd first like to thank our presenting sponsor, Mass General Brigham.
Thanks, Pam. I'd like to also introduce our premier sponsors for this year's Top 100, DentaQuest and Eastern Bank.
I'd like to thank our networking supporters, Lock Lord, Millmark New England, Vertex Pharmaceuticals, and Webster Bank.
And our event supporters, Accenture, Codman Square Health Center, Globalization Partners, Hub International, Morgan Stanley, NVNA and Hospice, EY, and PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Now it's my honor to introduce Kathy Kountz, the CIO of one of our sponsors, DentaQuest.
Thank you, Pam. I am delighted to be here today to help recognize dynamic women power players who are driving the Massachusetts economy. I'm Kathy Kountz, and as Pam said, Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer of DentaQuest. At DentaQuest, we manage dental and vision benefits for more than 30 million Americans and provide direct patient care through our network of more than 70 oral health centers. Our mission is to improve the oral health of all, and by all, we mean that no one gets left behind. No man, woman, or child, especially underserved individuals such as persons of color, immigrants, Native Americans, or those who identify as LGBTQ. This unwavering dedication to our mission and to advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion within the company is what attracted me to DentaQuest. When I joined the company, I knew I was going to be part of something special. I was attracted to being a part of a leadership team that has taken giant steps forward in its commitment to DEI. Supported by a 71% gender diverse board, DentaQuest completed the company's first DEI plan, building on work started with the creation of employee resource groups 4 years ago. And I'm happy to say that of our 6 ERGs, the largest is Women Empowered at DentaQuest, or We at DentaQuest. As you may know, TCI partners with We at DentaQuest to actively engage women with events to stay connected, network, and help them succeed in business. We highly value and appreciate our collaboration. We at DentaQuest is but one example of our organization's commitment to the development and advancement of all women. Recognizing that caregiving responsibilities at home can compromise women's career progression, DentaQuest offers remote and flexible work arrangements. Turnover among women has decreased, with women leaving at a lower rate than male colleagues, and overall employee satisfaction has improved significantly. Last month, we were officially recognized as a Great Place to Work certified company in the financial services and insurance category. 75% of DentaQuest employees say the company is a great place to work, compared to 59% of employees at other US-based companies. In addition, the results highlighted DentaQuest's commitment to ensuring an innovative, collaborative, impactful, and welcoming workplace. For instance, more than 80% of employees expressed they felt welcomed when joining the company. This acknowledgement is a testament to all we've accomplished. It also serves as motivation to build on this momentum and improve our work environment to ensure that every employee feels like their smile belongs here.
Thank you, Kathy, and all your support from DentaQuest. We so appreciate it. For those of you who know me, I always take an opportunity to do a little infomercial about the Commonwealth Institute because I'm so passionate about what we do and so excited about all the impact we are making on women, all women across the Commonwealth and across many other states now. But in particular, there are 3 things I want to be sure that you're all aware of. Our Strategies for Success program, which is a leadership development program, highly regarded for high talent, high potential women. We have over 1,500 graduates right now, and we sold out this fall. So get on the website, make sure you sign up those women that you want to get signed up for this spring, because it did sell out and we have a record number in our fall program. The other program, which we're really excited about, is called Courageous Leadership. And that is an advanced leadership program that strategy grads are eligible to apply, and or if you have similar leadership development program in your pocket. But it is critical that you sign up because spaces are going quickly. There's a little pre-work in December, and then we go on to the program starting in January. It's an excellent, excellent program. We got a lot of great feedback from many of our business partners that they've been waiting for this. So don't forget, Courageous Leadership. Last but not least is the 4th annual TCI Leadership Impact Study for Women in Massachusetts. The survey study is out now. We extended the deadline till November 19th, and please submit, participate, because we will issue the results early or late January with a town hall with our Leadership Council and talk about the findings. So please, please submit. Thanks.
I'm so glad you mentioned the leadership study, Elizabeth, because you know how much I love data. So we're going to talk about the top 100 data. To let you know, the rankings for the top 100 are determined by a variety of factors, all based on 2020 data. Organizations included in the list must have had a female CEO for at least 2/3 of the year. As we've done from the very beginning, we looked at revenue or operating budget to determine the economic impact of these companies. We then ranked organizations according to our own formula, taking into account the diversity in their management team, their board of directors, their workforce, and also innovative projects and their customer value. And this has been an amazing group this year. Just to let you know, we have in this year's list 44 private companies, 46 nonprofit companies, and 10 publicly held companies this year, which is the largest number we've ever had. 55.5% of senior leadership is female in these companies, and 8% is women of color. If you compare that to the national statistics, where there's only 33% female and 4 or 5% women of color, the women in Massachusetts are really leading in diversity and showing it by their leadership teams. About 42% of board members are female and 12% are women of color, again, leading the nation, where in the nation it's about 26% female and about 4 or 5% women of color. In the top 100 workforce, 58% are female and 19% are women of color. 28% of the workforce is BIPOC, and that is a very large workforce. The worldwide workforce of these top 100 companies is close to 590,000 people, and the Massachusetts workforce is 132,000 people. They're really making an impact on the Massachusetts economy and represent almost 12% of the GDP of the state. As you might expect, all the industry clusters are represented, with heavy emphasis in healthcare, education, financial services, professional and human services, but virtually every aspect is represented by women and women of color in this list. Given the year we had this past year, Elizabeth, and we talked about some of the challenges, it is fantastic to see the optimism of the top 100 women leaders. If you ask them about the growth expectations for their companies and for the state of Massachusetts, it is very optimistic. 53% of them expect growth greater than 5% in the coming year. And some of them, another 23%, expect at least 2 to 5%. So 75% are expecting to see growth, and a very small number, maybe about 7%, think things will stay the same or maybe decline slightly in their companies. And they're much more optimistic about their companies than they are about the state of Massachusetts, which they are also optimistic about. 36% believe that the state will grow more than 5%. About 40% think it'll be growth of 2 to 5%, and then a very small number, again, flat to declining. So it's a pretty optimistic group, and I think this is fantastic, particularly given the last 19 months that they've all gone through.
Yeah, absolutely, Pam. You know, we've been going through such a tough time, as we all know, and the impact of COVID on women in the workforce has been beyond any comprehension, I think, or certainly beyond any expectation we've had. That's the bad news. The good news is that we found through surveying our top 100 women that they are very focused on this issue and making sure that they continue to be innovative and thoughtful with how they run their companies and how they treat their employees, and focusing on retaining women inside their companies is really key. And we're happy to find out that over 90% are really focusing on being more agile, willing to experiment, test the waters, don't get stuck in a box, and I think we're starting to see some really pretty cool outcomes of that.
I agree, and I think tied with that is that 84% of the respondents are really focusing on transparency, being more open with their workforce as they're experimenting, being willing to say, that didn't work, let's try something else, or willing to say, we're going to pilot this, and we'd like your feedback as a workforce, which is phenomenal. And about 80% are really focused on the DE&I initiatives, not just a thoughts and prayers kind of thing, but
or check it off the box.
Or check it off the box.
Yeah.
But very much organization-wide training, programs and initiatives that are really serious in these companies.
Yeah. And Pam, I also think on the diversity and inclusion initiatives, companies are not only focusing more on it because of the obvious, but they're focusing on holding themselves accountable. There's no more check it off the box stuff going on. And if you do, it will be very obvious and transparent to your employees. The other, I think, outcome of all this, the agility and the willing to experiment, is as we speak, we are creating the new world of work. And inside these 100 companies, I'm happy to say almost 80% are reporting that they're much more flexible with their attitude and their approaches to work, whether it's remote work, flexible work, family-friendly policies, and focusing on their employees' welfare, mental health, physical happiness. It's physical well-being. It's so critical. It's much more of a holistic approach that we're finding that these women are reporting on. It's not just conversation. So that's, to me, is a really giant step forward.
I agree with you.
And a positive outcome of a very negative situation.
I really agree with you, and I think some other good things that have come out of this terrible time are the fact that we were forced to move into a virtual environment has actually opened up opportunities. In the Top 100 report, spending more time and energy on education programs and cross-geography programs that we can do now because of the virtual environment, as well as the reduction in travel, which is great for the environment as well as great for people's personal lives. Those are two things that I think are good that have come out of this environment. So with all of the stress and all of the weight that has fallen particularly on women's shoulders during this time period, our top 100 leaders are using this opportunity to make things better and putting things in place that are going to last far beyond the pandemic that we've all been going through. So we're breaking this down into groups, and to introduce our first group, we have a top 100 winner, Ann Klibanski from MGB.
Mass General Brigham has been successful in ensuring representation of women in leadership roles. In fact, we have about 50% parity in leadership ranks. Increasing the hiring, promotion, and retention of women of color is one of our priorities under Mass General Brigham's United Against Racism strategy that works to create a more inclusive, diverse workforce. We are focused on creating opportunities and advancement for Black, Brown, and Native American people. Mentoring is such an important way to share knowledge and guidance and encourage our leaders to participate in mentoring relationships. I've had the pleasure of serving as a mentor to so many women, with many of these relationships lasting for years. There is something so inspiring about seeing one of your mentees take the next step in their career or be recognized for their great work. As employers, we must do everything possible to preserve the gender gains we've made over the year, even in the worst of circumstances, and a very difficult time for all. Our leadership decision-making must consider the array of needs and nuances that a workforce of Mass General Brigham's size creates. This includes the members of our Mass General Brigham team who care for patients at the bedside, at our practices, as well as our virtual workforce. Finding ways to inspire and engage our remote workforce has been a major focus of Mass General Brigham since the end of March. We've created manager education materials and support, emphasizing both flexibility and connection. Although this is not easy, our leaders and our employees have worked so hard to make the best of a challenging situation. Compassion and empathy have been two very critical skills that all our leaders have had to embrace during this pandemic. One day, we will resume a more normal way of working together, and that normal way will be defined over time. But in the meantime, we must demonstrate flexibility, empathy, and innovation as we help our workforce balance the very critical demands of work and home.
And now to the awards.
Hello, I'm Pam Eddinger, the president of Bunker Hill Community College. Thank you for this Top 100 honor. To honor women-led businesses is to recognize that society's traditional support systems are often unavailable to women. We know that success in business is often dependent on informal networks, and gender identity is an important affinity. Over the last few decades, we women have had to create our own. It is powerful and joyful to me to be in the company of women leaders where I do not have to explain or justify it or code switch. I wish that for generations of women leaders to come, that the wealth of knowledge and inspiration you bring to the table will be beneficial for all people of all genders.
I want women and women of color to have explosive career growth at Ropes and Gray. So we are seizing opportunities to strengthen the engagement, connectivity, and infrastructure that helps women succeed. And I'll share 3 examples with you. First, we engage with great intentionality our talented women and diverse lawyers. We've enhanced our award-winning Women's Forum so that it can provide more fuel for career growth. And we launched our Diverse Partner Network, connecting diverse partners at our firm with business opportunities and clients. I'd also point to our Women Rainmakers program. It's a global initiative that connects women lawyers with career advice and the very best tools and training for business development and marketing their practices. Second, we make real investments in the success of our women. A financial grant named after Joan D. Fuller, who was the first woman partner at Ropes and Gray, is given to young women lawyers to cover the cost of growth opportunities. And just this week, one of our diverse associates used her funding to enroll in a program backed by Harvard Business School. Last, we all know that the pandemic was especially tough on women, so we leaned into our investments in technology and our precedent for flexibility to alleviate some of the worst impacts. We drove connectivity among women across the firm, and we continued our long history of offering flexibility to women as they rise through our ranks. Several of the women who participated in flexible work are leading practices at our firm today. It takes an awareness of and a commitment to supporting the professional and personal needs of women and women of color. We have big responsibilities as leaders, and we all know the tremendous benefit of getting this right.
I have the distinct pleasure to introduce one of our top 100 women, Beth Monaghan, who is the CEO of Inc. House, and also Jay Ash, who is the CEO of the Mass Competitive Partnership, a big, big supporter of all the work that we're doing at the Commonwealth Institute.
Hi, I'm Beth Monaghan, founder and CEO of Inc. House. I'm going to talk about how we encourage diversity, equity, and inclusion participation here. And the first thing I had to learn the hard way, I think, is that it's more important to focus internally than externally. I run a PR firm, so it's easy to think about, wow, I need to worry about what the external world thinks, or that there's one way to do this right. But what I've learned is that there's no one way to do it right. There's the way that works for your community. So I started hosting listening sessions twice a year with all of our different communities here at Inc. House, where I ask them to tell us what brings them joy, what frustrates them, what concerns them. And it has really transformed the way we build our community. And now, as a storytelling firm, we also try to build that community through telling our own stories. We host storytelling events. We've actually published 2 books of employee-authored essays about their personal stories of resilience and clarity, and it has brought our community so much closer. The other thing we do is hold ourselves accountable. I publish our data on our blog every single year, and I'm going to continue to do that, even if we lose progress, because if we don't take a stand for where we are, it's really tough to figure out where we're going. And then the third thing that's helped us is finding external expertise. we can't do this on our own. It's really hard, even if we want to and think we can. But having an outside perspective helps, gives people in your community someone to talk to who's external, and also gives you insights to help inform all of your decisions. So congratulations to all of the other top women in business here in Massachusetts. I'm honored to be among you.
Hi, my name is Jay Ash, and I'm the CEO of the Massachusetts Competitive Partnership. Whether it's here at MACP, as Governor Baker's first Economic Development Secretary, or heck, as a delivery boy back at my first job in Chelsea in 1970, let's just say many years ago, I know that effective and powerful leadership is important. Whether you're running the state's largest employer, or you're part of the husband and wife team that hired young Jay Ash at Glassman's grocery store. Over a lifetime, I've seen great CEOs leading prospering companies and organizations across all sectors and regions of the state. And it's never been to my surprise that some of those companies and organizations are led by women. I'm glad TCI is recognizing another impressive list of terrific women who are in charge. Today's honorees develop new technologies, offer services, and safeguard our investments. They provide education and healthcare, bring us entertainment, and get us from point A to point B. They create good-paying jobs in our institutions and their communities. For a lifetime, I've known that women-led businesses are key to the Massachusetts economy. I am honored to be part of the event here today, and I want to recognize each and every one of you for the contributions you have made and congratulate you on being part of the top 100. Thanks too to TCI for continuing to support women leaders and for providing us these opportunities to celebrate their successes, especially because those successes do benefit us all. Congratulations.
So as we continue with our countdown on the top 100, I'm so pleased that we'll be able to hear from Reshma Kewalramani from Vertex and Kathleen McCartney from Smith College.
Good morning. My name is Reshma Kewalramani, and I'm the CEO at Vertex Pharmaceuticals. On July 29th of 2019, when I woke up and read the headlines in the newspapers, I was struck by the fact that most of the headlines referred to my appointment as the CEO of Vertex as the first woman to be CEO of a major biotechnology company, alternatively, as the first woman of color to be named CEO of a large biotechnology company. And I remember thinking that this was interesting, it was different. It was certainly not how I viewed myself. I thought of myself as a physician, as a business executive, as a leader in the community, but I didn't think of myself as a woman leader or a woman executive or a woman CEO. I thought about this in the coming days and months after the announcement, and I was thinking through whether or not I was truly a woman leader or a leader in my own mind. And I have to say that my own image of the right way to describe a woman in a leadership position began to change. And it changed because of the many letters, emails, texts, gifts. I received a number of plants and handwritten cards by people who were telling me the importance and significance that this milestone held in their minds. Letters from folks who referred to conversations they had with their nieces. Others had conversations with their daughters, and still others with their granddaughters. And what this meant to them was being a woman and a CEO was entirely possible, and that was meaningful. And I think what I learned from that experience is that you cannot aspire to be something you cannot see. I've been fortunate to be at the helm of a company that has been deeply invested in inclusion, diversity, and equity for many, many years, far before me taking this role. Part of that is manifested in how we invest and grow our own people, how we invest in Vertexians. One part of that I'm really proud of is how we think about job descriptions. We've gone through all of our job descriptions to make sure that what the job descriptions have are the requirements and not nice to haves, because it turns out that studies show women can sometimes take themselves out of the running if it appears to them that they don't check off every checkbox on a job description. In terms of our community, we believe in bringing in the next generation of girls and women into STEM and STEAM-based jobs, as well as those in underrepresented backgrounds. For the last decade, we've worked with the Boston school system to bring in kids and teach them a real love for science with hands-on learning. We also work with BSCP, as well as Europe and Bottom Line, to make sure that people from all backgrounds have a chance to enter this wonderful world of STEAM education and hopefully join us at Vertex and in other biotechnology companies. Thank you so much for the honor. I feel extremely privileged to be here amongst these incredibly accomplished women running these very impressive businesses. Thank you.
One of my priorities as president of a women's college is addressing systemic sexism in all its forms. This necessarily means understanding implicit bias in the workplace. Professor Mahzarin Banaji from Harvard University coined the term implicit bias to describe a phenomenon whereby we ascribe characteristics towards people based on stereotypes without our conscious knowledge. Stereotypes can be positive or negative. However, either way they reflect bias. For example, there's evidence that people associate leadership with men, a positive bias, but less so with women, a negative bias. These biases are derived from culture. Regarding biases associated with race, psychologist Beverly Daniel Tatum has written that we all breathe the smog of racism. The same is true for other identities, for example, class, religion, sexual orientation, physical ability, and so on. What does implicit bias about gender look like in the workplace? Here's an example. A hiring manager reviews two resumes, one from a man and another from a woman. The woman has better qualifications and experiences, but the manager hires the man. There have been hundreds of social science studies documenting this kind of bias against women in the workplace. Further, it's important to note that biases are exacerbated for people with multiple marginalized identities, for example, women of color. The legal scholar Kimberly Crenshaw refers to this phenomenon as intersectionality. So how do we eliminate unconscious bias? Here are 3 important ways. The first step is awareness. We must make the invisible visible. One way to do this is to offer training to employees about implicit bias and how it works. Such training can be especially important for members of a search committee. Learning anti-bias techniques can support more equitable screening and evaluation of job candidates. The second step is to measure and monitor diversity, equity, and climate in the workplace. Make a point of regularly reviewing data about your department or organization. Are women and people of color paid and promoted equitably in comparison with their peers? Do workplace climate surveys reflect a welcoming culture across identities? The third and perhaps most important step is for each of us to regularly reflect on our own biases. Seek active feedback about your biases and blind spots from mentors and peers. Expand your own understanding of implicit bias by reading books and articles by experts in the field. 2 books I recommend are Blind Spot, Hidden Biases of Good People by Masrin Banaji, and Biased, Uncovering the Hidden Prejudice That Shapes What We See, Think, and Do by Jennifer Eberhardt. Addressing implicit bias takes work and commitment, but pays enormous dividends. Moreover, it's the right thing to do. When we eliminate implicit bias, we improve retention and performance, we establish a robust leadership pipeline, and we recognize talent fairly and equitably, thereby creating a workplace that honors our common humanity. Thank you.
Before we get to the top 10, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce 2 of our new members of the Top 100 community. Nancy Steger, the CEO of the Eastern Bank Foundation, and Lisa Wieland, the CEO of Massport.
Hi, I'm Nancy Steger, President and CEO of the Eastern Bank Foundation. You know, it makes such a difference when women who are leading their businesses are recognized. It seems such a simple thing to acknowledge the leadership and diversity that women bring to our firms. But before TCI did it, it just didn't happen. So thank you to the Commonwealth Institute for recognizing women-led businesses. It's really important to recognize these women-led businesses because as the landscape of business continues to change and change rapidly, we need to depend more and more on diversity at all levels of our organizations and the diversity of thought and perspective and lived experiences that comes from including everyone so that our businesses get the best contributions from each person. Especially now, where it's widely reported that more than 275,000 women have left the Massachusetts workforce since the beginning of the pandemic and have left permanently. It's important to acknowledge that women in the C-suite, particularly women CEOs, are more than proof points. We bring important perspective and lived experience to the work. We're important role models and mentors and champions for other women in our firms and in other firms. We create pipelines, and we're uniquely positioned to overcome the broken rungs on the corporate ladder. So thank you, TCI, for this opportunity to recognize so many wonderful leaders in Massachusetts.
On behalf of our entire organization, I want to thank the Commonwealth Institute for naming Massport as one of the top 100 women-led businesses in Massachusetts. It's such an honor to be recognized alongside some great companies doing so much for the Massachusetts economy. You know, women have been leading for a long, long time, but it may have been happening in places and in ways that haven't always been fully acknowledged or honored. But the idea of women setting direction, building culture, prioritizing resources, balancing stakeholders, adapting to change, and getting the job done, and then communicating about it all, is not new. What is new is that women's leadership is more visible, valued, and recognized for delivering top-notch results. Additional opportunities have opened up, and we see more women excelling across a variety of industries. Just look all around at the terrific businesses being celebrated today and the difference they are making across the Commonwealth. I think the attributes that women tend to bring to leadership have been, and will continue to be, important for this particular moment, in a time when the pandemic has upended so much of what we thought was as normal. A capacity to connect and communicate, a willingness to listen, empathy for the struggles people have at home, an ability to adapt, to be agile, and resilient. These are the characteristics of the women leading Massachusetts businesses out of today's crises and into tomorrow's opportunities. Congratulations again to my peers, and thank you to the Commonwealth Institute.
And now we're down to the top 10. Coming in at number 10, Susan Murley from WilmerHale.
Number 9, Julie Jones from Ropes and Gray.
Number 8, Joanne Simons, Northeast Arc and Affiliates.
Number 7, Kate Walsh, Boston Medical Center Health System.
Number 6, Mary Moscato, Hebrew Rehabilitation Center.
Number 5, Dr. Maisha Minter-Jordan, CareQuest Institute for Oral Health.
Number 4, Christina Severin, Community Care Cooperative.
Number 3, Dr. Ann Klibanski, Mass General Brigham.
Number 2, Dr. Reshma Kewalramani, Vertex Pharmaceuticals.
And number 1, Dr. Lori Glimsher, Dana-Farber Cancer Institute.
So congratulations to all the top 100 winners. We're so pleased for you. But Elizabeth and I cannot be satisfied with a mere celebration. We need to use this opportunity to call you to action. Be sure to support the women leaders in your organization. Participate in the Leadership Impact Study.
Yes!
Yes. Encourage DE&I up and down your organization, from hiring to promotion to development to retention. Make it real in your organization. Contact your legislators to support the legislation that really aligns with your missions and values. And continue to make a meaningful, measurable impact to include the talent of all in your organizations.
I would like to thank all the sponsors again for all of your support and encouragement and commitment to TCI and the important work that we're doing. So let me begin with thanking our presenting sponsor, Mass General Brigham, our premier partners, DentaQuest and Eastern Bank, the networking supporters, Lock Lord, Melmart New England, Vertex Pharmaceuticals, Webster Bank, and our event supporters, Accenture, Codman Square Health Center, Globalization Partners, Hub International, Morgan Stanley, NVNA and Hospice, EY, and PricewaterhouseCoopers. Thank you again. At the end of the program, you will see all of the winners listed again. And I want to just point out one thing. Next year, we are planning to be in person, and can't wait to see you all on October 28th, Friday, 2022. Mark your calendars now. Congratulations again to our top 100 winners this year in 2021. See you next year, hopefully in person, October 28th, 2022. Cheers.
Cheers. See how I figured that out? See, I'm so good.
You are so friggin' smart.
I
just can't stand it.
MIT, here I come. Come on, Elizabeth.
Oh, are we going? Oh, I didn't.
Jeez, we're recording, girl. We're recording. Speak words.
That's a good blooper.
Words out of mouth. You know, if you're going to say that, I'm going to say kick ass. I mean, seriously?
Well, that's okay. You can say
Okay,
kick
hey,
ass if
listen.
you want.
Okay. I think you can say kick ass.
We
We
know
got
you
Miss
wrote it, but we
we-
scratched it out.
Yeah, we got Miss Get done here, so I guess
Yeah.
we can do that.
We actually were drinking before we
Woo,
got here.
baby. Yeah, like where are the
Yeah.
shots? That's what I want
Yeah.
to know. Where are the shots?
Yeah, Starbucks
I was
down the
promised
street,
shots.
They give
right?
mimosas now in the
Ooh,
drive-thru.
there you go. Are you trying to tell us that you do what you're told? Okay then.
I used to.
Uh-huh. Newsflash. Call the Globe. I got a new headline.
We're not on camera.
Oh, we're not on camera.
Right.
Oh, thank God. So I can put my paper like this. I was so concerned. I saw you with that look on your face, and I thought, oh, damn, my paper's showing. I got to put it down. And then I completely lost track of where I was, and I was lost.
So Pam, let's do a big toast to our top 100 women. Blech. So Pam, let's have some more champagne.
Because obviously you haven't had enough.
Yeah, right. Jeez. So Pam, let's take a few minutes and again congratulate all of you top 100 Women-Led Business Award winners. And I don't like what I said, so I'm going to start it again.
Mm-hmm.
And
Cheers.
your continued success.
Whoops, sorry. I thought you were going to, I interrupted you.
That's
I thought
okay.
you were going to be done.
That's all right.
So now you have to do it again
No,
because
we
I
don't.
interrupted you.
And Pam, join us in me. No, join me.
All of you.
All of you.
All of you.
All of you.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
We only have one bottle, so.
We're going to try this over and over till
We're
we
just gonna
get
get
it
this, so we really
right.
got it
We're
right.
going to get it right. I was going to say it, and I thought, no, she's supposed to say it first. I was like, it's like,
wow. Okay. Okay. do
okay,
that.
we can do this.
I
We can
can
do
do
it.
this.
We can do it. Here, look, have a sip.
Yeah.
Have a sip first. There you go. That'll help.
Let's chug it. Let's chug it. Is this real? Is there alcohol in this? Who would have thought this was going to be the hardest
This is the hardest part. We have done more takes of this.
Yeah.
The first time I thought that worked really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was a little lightning in a bottle on that one.
Yeah. We're trying to recreate perfection. And it's,
It's so hard to do.
you know, it's really hard.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. Larry Bird would have been impressed. God, are we awesome or what? Okay, good. Here you go, Vegas.
Oh, we got my bottle.
Whoa.
Vegas, where's the hole?
Come on. Yeah. Vegas is back at the top 100.